Welcome to Ma Navalokam, welcome to Ma Navalokam, welcome to Ma Lokam. This is the video showing how to make a 3-pot filter. Please watch the video completely till the end before you start making this filter.
This is the process of making 3-pot filter which can be used for domestic consumption of drinking water. This is an alternative for hollow filter, and also subsequently it aids for rejuvenation of our mother river here, Musi river in Hyderabad. Now let us see the process. Whosoever wants a tap to their pot, they'll install it upon instruction. So they'll get their pot with the tap. Very care has to be taken to make holes to these pots. If not, the pots are susceptible to cracks and shattering. Let me show you how you will drill a hole into this with the help of a drilling machine. If ever you want to make a hole all by yourself with the help of nail, screw and a screwdriver or a hammer, very care has to be taken. I suggest you to put some old cloths underneath these pots and press onto the wall of the pot, and then slightly gently try to hold the hammer and then try to make a hole with it. It is also suggestible and recommended to get a hole done by the potter then and there when you buy it. He is well versed in making a hole, or he can prevent any sort of shattering or any accident from happening onto this pot. Now let me show you how you will do a hole or drill a hole with this help of drilling machine. The hole can be for at least 4 mm to 6 mm diameter, and the same is the drill bit here. It's nearly 4 mm or 4.5 mm. Let me show you how to drill it. I have been drilling this hole in an inclined manner, holding this drilling machine in an inclined manner. For about 5 mm or so it got drilled. The space is nearly 5 mm or so. That much of earth material has gouged out. Now I will put this drilling machine in a straight manner perpendicularly. Instead of trying to do the operation similar operation in an inclined way, I'll just put it straight now, because the hole which is already formed is sufficient for me. Now I'll just carry out the same operation holding the drilling machine straight and gradually making the hole. It took nearly 15 minutes or so for me to reach this position. Now let me continue. Now we have successfully accomplished drilling a hole into this pot underneath. It took nearly 15 or 20 minutes for me to drill such a hole of about 5 to 6 mm or so in diameter. Now let us try to fill ingredients in this hole. It took nearly 15 minutes or so for me to drill this 5 to 6 mm diameter hole. After this, let us try to fill the ingredients into this pot. The sand which is bought should be washed now. Take a container, a tub or a bucket, and just fill it with this sand, and all you need to do is fill this bucket or this tub with water and this sand, and just mix it, agitate it, so as to all the particles are just moving around and it's completely swirling in the pond in this tub. After a while you are washing, all the silt or lighter in weight particles just buoyance up into the water. That water should be poured out, and remaining soil particles should be retained. All we need to do is the mud or the dust in the soil should be in this sand should be thrown away or washed away, and rest of the sand particles should be retained for us to filter the actual drinking water, the real drinking water. So let us see how we will do it. All we need to do is fill this tub or a bucket with sand and water, agitate it, keep mixing it, and just after a while silt is just buoyanced on top of the sand, heavier sand particles, and that is mixed with water. This silty water should be just poured out. It's similar to the dust water. This is how we do it. Let us see. Fill this bucket or tub with the sand. You should fill at least at most 1/4 of the bucket or the tub should be filled with sand. If you reach up to half of it or so the capacity, then it's difficult for you to wash, because it will be very heavy for you to mix with water, and agitating is a problem. So I recommend you to fill this at most up to 1/4 of the bucket or the tub capacity, and rest of it, nearly 3/4 or half of it, can be filled up with water. All you need to do is agitate and rinse off the dusty muddy water or the silty water, and remaining soil particles should retain. You'll understand the soil quality, and also you can differentiate the silty or muddy or dusty water from that of the actual sand grains. That is what needs to be drained out, the silty or the dusty water from this cleaned sand. You can take nearly 20 to 25 kgs or so for a sand filter is required for 3-pot filter system. Fill this tub for about 25% of it with sand, not more than that. And after that, about 3/4 or 50% of it can be filled with water. It will be easy for you to operate, to clean, to agitate this sand, and differentiate the silty, muddy water, dusty water away from the sand particles. We have bought coarse aggregate. This is 20 mm metal, 20 mm granite coarse aggregate. Now this has to be washed in similar way as how sand is washed. Fill up to 1/4 of this tub, and the rest of the half, or up to 3/4, you should fill it with water and just agitate whole of this coarse aggregate mixed with water. Whatever dust is present on this coarse aggregate will just buoyance into this water, and it can be easily thrown away, or both of them can be separated. Clean up to 25 kgs of coarse aggregate. It must be sufficient for our 3-pot filter. This coarse aggregate should not be procured from dismantled concrete, or somewhere from earth, or anywhere from road, or even from mud, because it will be very muddy, it will be very cementized, and it is very dusty, and you wouldn't be able to understand whether it is cleaned or not even you do so. So I suggest you to just buy from the building material yard there and there, and it is relatively, you'll find it relatively clean, and it's easier for you to just wash off the dust from it. Likewise, you just have to keep it under sunlight and dry it for a day or so. That would be easy. We have washed sand and coarse aggregate, gravel, stone, and we have put them in sun. They are getting dried now. In the similar way, we also have to purchase coal, which is available in the market. Coal is usually used for burning. It's used as a burning fuel. You'll get it in the market. You need to buy for nearly 5 to 6 kgs of coal, and we'll have to wash it similarly for 3 to 4 times and dry it in hot sun. We'll show the process how we will do it. For us, we have biochar available at our disposal, so we'll be taking biochar instead of charcoal or the normal commercial coal which is available. You can take biochar, charcoal, either ways, anything is okay, it works fine. We'll show you how we'll be taking this biochar out of the kiln from the kiln, and we'll show you how it will be washed and how it is dried. Basically, biochar or coal, what it does is removes the stink from the water. It also has a microbial action on the water, which makes the water a little more purer than the input water. Likewise, the output water is better when consumed when you use coal or charcoal or biochar. We are sieving the available biochar like how it is shown. We need bigger biochar particles. The powdered biochar is not required, or the ash, that is not required in the sand filter. We just need bigger biochar, whichever you are trying to use. Now we have to wash this biochar or coal or charcoal, whichever you are trying to use. While you are trying to wash this charcoal or biochar, the water gets very darker in color. It's really very black because it gets mixed with the ash and other sooty material from this coal. It's okay. All you need to do is wash it several times, nearly 5 to 6 times, 4 to 5 times, 5 to 6 times. But still you won't be able to get rid of whole of this black color from the water. It's okay. You can dry it for once in hot sun, and it will get dried, and it will be very, what do you say, it will be having no water, and it will be very brittle, and it will be metallic while you try to strike this charcoal or biochar. And after that you may try to wash it all over again for once more, and again put it in sun and make sure that it is dried up very perfectly in hot dry sun. Now we are drying sand, coarse aggregate and biochar in hot dry sun. Care should be taken that these ingredients or these aggregate should be dried for at least 3 to 4 to 5 hours or even more, and the sun should be very hot. It should be completely exposed to sun. There shouldn't be any shade ever that should fall on this aggregate. After getting dried up, it will just be fresh and smooth, and without any sort of bacteria. Caution has to be taken that this aggregate is not dried anywhere in shade, and for every 1 or 2 hours just try to bring the underneath thing on top and top onto the bottom, so that everything gets equally dried and everything is equally every material gets equally exposed to the sunlight. That is what it is. After this, we'll just try to put it in the pot filter. Now at last we have to take 2 bigger stones, smooth, finely smoothened stones, or any sort of a gravel stone, which should be nearly 40 mm to 60 mm, its flakiness size. Why we use these stones is we have to place these stones just above the hole in these pots, very very near the hole of the pot, and after that we'll be filling this pot with the coarse aggregate 20 and 30 aggregate, and after that finally we'll be mixing the charcoal and sand, and we'll be pouring it finally into these pots. Let me show you how we will place these stones in the pot. These stones have to be collected. It should be nearly 60 to 100 stone, fine and washed and dried. This should be placed near the pot hole, and there will be no leakage of or any sort of drainage of sand particles. Rather there will be only drainage of purified filtered water. We have to place this stone near the hole first, and later we have to fill the same with coarse aggregate and then with sand and charcoal. We have placed the biggest stone first near the hole. Now we will be placing this coarse aggregate, the 20 coarse aggregate, washed and completely dried, clean. This is the order which we have to place the ingredients into this pot filter. First the biggest stone, next the coarse aggregate, and after that fine aggregate, that is sand, mixed with charcoal or biochar. Now let us see how I will be placing this coarse aggregate, 20 coarse aggregate, into the pot. This is how you need to place the coarse aggregate into this pot. Distribute all of the coarse aggregate properly, evenly and uniformly. After putting the coarse aggregate into it, distribute completely. There may be some dust still left in the coarse aggregate and also in the sand. It's all okay. This dust is what aids in water purification. Anyhow, this water, the purified water is actually drained out for at least 3 to 4 times. 3 to 4 times we'll be filling this pot filter in the first instance, and it will all be just drained out. So there is no problem with this dust. It just goes off, because we just let it out for at least 3 to 4 times. We just fill the water and it is just let out. So there is no problem with any sort of dust. Fill the coarse aggregate up to 1/4 of the pot's capacity. I think you can also accommodate up to 1/3 of its capacity. Even half of the pond capacity can be filled with coarse aggregate. It's all okay. But I think I can accommodate up to 1/4 to 1/3 of the capacity of the pond with the coarse aggregate. Now I'm taking this washed and dried sand along with the washed and dried charcoal, biochar. We can mix them prior to filling the pot, or they can be filled separately. Likewise, once you fill the pot with sand for a couple of times, after that once you'll be filling with biochar or charcoal, again you'll continue filling the sand again for sand with for 2 times, and again you'll be filling the same with charcoal once, and again the process just repeats. Let me show you how it is done. But first, you put the biggest stone near the hole. After that you fill the pot with coarse aggregate till 1/3 or 1/4. After that, you fill this with the sand and charcoal or biochar mix. Now the pot is filled up to 1/4 or 1/3 with the coarse aggregate. Now let us fill the same with the sand, washed and dried clean sand, along with biochar. Fill this pot with sand for 2 times or 3 times. Now I am filling with biochar. Now the 3-pot filter is accomplished. The preparation or making of this 3-pot filter is accomplished. What we have done is we have put a bigger stone near the hole for each of these 2 pots. Next it is filled with coarse aggregate up to 1/3 or 1/4. After that we are filling this pot with washed and dried and cleaned sand and biochar. The mixture of both can be filled, or first you can fill it with sand, and next you can also add biochar. The whole of the pot is nearly filled till 75% or so, or 70%. Nearly 3 to 4 to 5 inches of freeboard is left for each of these 2 ponds on the top, because it will allow for the water to pass through this pot filter. If not, it will just emanate from the pot and it will go out of the filtration. Technically or engineering wise, this is known as a rapid sand filter. wherein gradually there is a culture or bacterial culture formed between the sand particles and even in the biochar or charcoal, and that aids in filtration of this input water. Likewise, the output water is relatively much cleaner and hygienic to drink. There is a tripod, metallic tripod available at the potters. You can buy one and place it on the ground, and place these pots likewise on the tripod. It will be nearly at a height of 5 feet or 4.5 feet or whatever. That will be more convenient for you to pour the water and likewise collect the water. For display and for the purpose of taking this video in a lighter and a bright place, we have kept this here at the sitting area in our home. Likewise, it is nearly 5 feet, 5.5 feet or so, but you can place it on a tripod in your home and it will be nearly 4.5 feet or so, half a year in your height, and it will be easy for you to pour water onto the top. Let us see how it will work. This is the normal municipal water. Now I am putting this in the pot filter. It has been a couple of hours since we have poured water into these pots. Now the pots, even the earth of this pot has absorbed the water. You can see it is visible that this pot has saturated all the water. Now you can do similarly, like you can pour water again and again for as long as possible, like 10 times or 5 times, 15 times, 7, 8 times or so, and pour away whatever is the outcome, and gradually you can drink the water from tomorrow or after 10 times or 15 times. At first you may feel that the water tastes a little like some ashy flavor water or some coal sort of a coal water or whatever. It's okay. After a week or so, everything will be normalized and the taste will be as normal as the drinking water which you are drinking now. Now let us try to summarize the method of preparation of the 3-pot filter. First, we will have to procure sand, coarse aggregate, and 2 big 50 mm flakiness index stones, and also at once buy 5 kilos of charcoal, biochar or normal coal. Sand and coarse aggregate each will be buying for about 15 kilos or 20 kilos, whichever, 15 kilos can also happen, or you can also choose 20 kilos. While collecting sand and coarse aggregate, try to dig out a lot of the top layers of the soil of the sand and coarse aggregate, and collect or procure the sand material from a little deeper parts of the soil sand heaps there in the material yard, because it will just prevent any sort of animal intrusions in your material and this mix. Relatively it will also be cleaner, while the top layers of the sand and coarse aggregate is usually very dusty. Similar way, you buy the charcoal and or biochar, whichever, bring them all to home, and you also have to buy these three pots: 20-liter pot, 15-liter pot and 10-liter pot. The 20-liter pot, the bottom one, the bigger one, should have a tap. Ask the potter to drill to install a tap to it, and also make sure that there is an allocation for you to place the bottom pot on a metallic stand, such that in such a way this tap has to be placed nearly 6 inches or so from the usual ground level, and below this tap there should be the metallic stand. And this 20-liter pot is used only to collect the filtered water, but nothing else. And this 15 and 10-liter pots, they both will be having small hole underneath each of these pots, and it is nearly 4 to 5 to 6 mm or so diameter of the hole. You need to drill this hole with the drilling machine gently, gradually, slowly, because the earth of this pot or the mud of this pot is not very forgiving. It may shatter, it may break. So there is a huge care that is put into to drill a hole, as shown in the video. For both of these pots, you'll be putting one hole each. While you are trying to drill a hole with a nail, with a screw, in case you don't have the drilling machine, then I suggest you to fill these pots with clothes, cotton, pillow, whatever. Fill these pots completely with this cloth, and ask someone to press these clothes down to the wall at the pot. While you are trying to drill a hole with a nail or screw, in case you don't have a drilling machine, I suggest you to take few old cloths, some cotton, pillow or whatever, and fill this pot completely with that cloth material, and press the material to the walls of this pot. Then ask someone to gently make a hole with the tip of the screw by very gently hammering or tapping that screw.
and later on you can only, all you need to do is you only have to drive the screw into this pot till you get a through hole. And also you need to wet the pot before you try to make any hole, because it will be, you know, all this pressure, all this impact will be just, you know, it will be stressed out onto a larger area, I mean dampening our chances for shattering of this pot. I already have a pot. I'm trying to make another one, another 3-pot filter. So this is for demonstration purpose. The hole will be for about 5 to 6 mm or 4 mm in diameter. Now coming to the material, it is basically very dirty and dusty. So separately wash each ingredient, that is sand, coarse aggregate, and even those 2 big stones and biochar. Separately wash them for an hour or 1.5 hours or so, or 4 to 5 times or so. Drain away whole of that water, discard that water, and again, you know, repeat the same thing, and dry them in hot sun. It should be very hot, and you know, the material should get heated up, and it should be very clean when you try to dry them in hot sun. The same thing is shown in the video as well, how do we wash it and how do we dry it. Similarly, make the process, continue the process with biochar or charcoal also. The water is usually very black in color, it is very sooty, all the ash, you know, it gets mixed up with the water several times. It's very difficult to eradicate all that blackness, sootiness out of this water or out of the charcoal. So it is still okay. You can wash the charcoal biochar for about 5 times or so, 6 times or so, and dry this biochar also similar to how you are drying the other ingredients in this pot filter. This is the washing and drying done on the first day. Similarly, repeat the process again, repeat the process of washing and drying on the second day also for all the 3 ingredients, 4 ingredients in fact, with the 2 big stones. I suggest you to wash them very thoroughly separately and dry them in hot sun, and also try to shuffle all the material once in a while for an hour or once in 2 hours, so that, you know, all the material is evenly dried and it's completely clean. There may be some traces of dust here and there, dust and dirt here and there in the sand and also in coarse aggregate. That's still okay. That's what, you know, is the basis, or you know, those are the rudimentary traces of this coarse aggregate, and it is still okay. That will aid in water treatment. And there is also an indication and a precaution that, you know, we have never used any detergent, soap, or any such sort of a cleaning agent clean these ingredients. It's just drinking water or normal bore water or any well water that we have used to clean this clean these ingredients. All we have done is we have just applied some friction, rupture and abrasion and a lot of water to just clean the aggregates, nothing. Now coming to filling these pots with the ingredients, first place the 50 mm stone, bigger stones, near the pot hole underneath. First it will be placed, and then, you know, fill it with the coarse aggregate till 1/3 or so, like how it is shown in the video. And after that, fill the cleaned dried sand for about 3 rounds, and for another 1 round fill it with charcoal. Repeat the process again with 3 rounds of filling it with sand, and again 1 round of charcoal. This is the only process and the only sequence how you need to fill this 3-pot filter. Any other sort of sequence, or, you know, trying to shuffle with the aggregates or trying to vibrate the pot after the filling the aggregates will lead to drainage of, or, you know, sinking or piping of whole of the sand into the bottom parts, which becomes inefficient for treatment of this pot filter. So this is the only process how you need to fill the aggregates. After filling these aggregates, place them this way in this order: the biggest one on the bottom, the middle one in the middle, and the smallest one on the top. The precaution also has to be taken, and the user also has to be careful and cautious that, you know, these pots will be very heavy after you fill them with the aggregate, nearly 30 to 25 to 30 kgs or so. It is suggested or recommended to have a helping hand with you to, you know, to lift these pots and carefully place them in you know, in the order they have to place, and, you know, wherever you want to place them in a room. And when you want to finally fill these pots with the water and, you know, drink the water, I suggest you to fill this pot filter for at least 5 to 6 times, even more, with 5 to 6 liters or 7-8 liters with water, and try to just drain it off, or, you know, discard that water. You can even use it for irrigation or, you know, backyard gardening, watering. And after that, repeat the same thing, same process of discarding the water, pouring fresh water onto the top, 5-6 liters all the time, 6 times or so, and discard the same water, to the plants in your backyard or wherever. You can use it for utensils washing also. On the third day or even on the second day evening or so, pour fresh water again. That will be the final water which you can drink, and it will be collected down here in 20 minutes or so. You can get the water. 20 minutes, half an hour, 25 minutes, 15 minutes, whichever. You can collect the water. The water will be collected in the bottom pot. Now try to open the pot, and you'll be getting relatively cleaner water, better water, less stinky water. Let us see how this pot filter has worked. It has been nearly 2 days or so since we have made this, and I have been draining out fresh rounds of water all the times, 5 to 6 liters or so. Now let us finally drink this water, check it out how it has happened. Now the reasons or the benefits to use this 3-pot filter is, it is very indigenous, it is low cost, it is made by you, there is no high technology in this, it is Indian, and it is also safe to drink. It is bacteriological symbiosis that helps you in breaking down the contamination in this water. It is also less stinky. There is nature that is helping you in treating your water, and there is also TDS ingression in this. TDS is nearly 150, 180, 200 and even 240, which is still safe to drink water, unlike RO filter where it is very less, even less than 50, 40 or 30, which is very unhygienic and very dangerous for consumption. Other sort of benefits is, you don't have to have any cooling mechanism to have your water. The water is almost all the time cool, so this is an alternative for refrigeration. So also subsequently you'll save your electricity. While coming to RO filters, on the other hand, they reduce the TDS very drastically, making it sound near 35, 30s or 40s or 50s, somewhere in that range, which is very dangerous, and it also deteriorates your bone strength. There will be osteoporotic problems in your health. So we recommend you to make this 3-pot filter all by yourself with your hand, and recommend this video or this process of making the 3-pot filter, even this product, to your friends and family, and feed this water and ask them to drink this water to whosoever possible, whensoever possible, and to maximum people and maximum times whenever it is possible. Ask them to have this healthy water. All you can feed in this water is the municipal government water supply, and this 3-pot filter will cater to removing any pathogens also, and even bore water also can be put in this water, and it will be treated, and it is safe for you to consume. There is another care has to be taken, that 3-pot filter is also very also demands or warrants very least maintenance. Again, rejuvenation of this 3-pot filter can happen 1.5 years later, or even 2 years later, or 1 year later. However, how it depends on how dirty the input water is. All you need to do is repeat the same process. The same ingredients can be washed, and try to sieve away, or try to glean out all the coarse aggregates separately and wash them from the sand. That would be recommended, rather than trying to separate the sand from the gravel. It is easy to collect gravel, charcoal from the sand, rather than trying to separate sand. Wash them in the similar way how you have done now, or you can view the video all over again, and maintain these pots carefully. Place them in some corner in your room, and make sure that nobody actually, there is a great approach, or there are any chances or impending danger as to whether a person would like to unintentionally may try to strike the pots, and there is a fatal incident of breakage of these pots. Try to avoid them and place these pots in a corner place in your room. And you would have also observed in some trekking areas, even wildlife videos, or wherever people try to gather some water, muddy water, some sandy water, and they try to implement the same technology there, trying to filter that water and save themselves from thirst and other sort of fatigue. You can view the same thing there in woods crafting videos. This is the same technology. This even works for muddy water also. It will give you pure water, but that is not recommended, because wherever in urban or rural areas, all the time a decent amount of fair drinking water is available. That drinking water can be put into this 3-pot filter as a first input, and subsequently collect even more relatively treated water. So the making of this 3-pot filter has happened. Now let us try experimenting or explore how the water has got treated, and let us taste it. The water seems to be normal with less lather. but still there are beautiful bubbles in it. Let us taste it. It's taste as normal as possible, like how the water from a new pot tastes. Since these are new pots, the water tastes that way. It will take couple of days for you to get accustomed to this water taste, and also the pot also will gradually lose its earthy flavor. It's just normal. There is no ashy flavor or sooty flavor also, and there is no sandy, silty or muddy flavor to this water also. All you can taste is the pot and its earth flavor. That's it. So I recommend you to make this 3-pot filter all by yourself. Help others making in this 3-pot filter. Recommend people to use 3-pot filter in their daily lives, and recommend the same thing to your friends, relatives, and feed them with this 3-pot filtered water as many times as possible to as many people as possible. Try to share this video to whosoever may be liking this, or whosoever is interested in making such indigenous products. For more updates and for more indigenous and some interesting topics and other products, visit manuaI channel and subscribe to it, and also share the same with your friends and colleagues and relatives. Thank you.